Sup YouTube, and it sounds too good I never trusted, man. Thank y'all for tuning in for another episode. So man, I got a movie review. Y'all probably don't know this, but I'm a big movie fanatic. I don't watch movies all the way up to the 70s, 80s, 90s to now, bro. I don't watch all type of movies, bro. And psychological horror films is my favorite type of genre to watch. I like thrillers. I like big plot twist type of movies. You know what I'm saying? So it's a pretty good movie to me, man. You know what I'm saying? I gotta watch it. But let's get into it, man. So we got Clark, a drunk dude, pretty much a guy. He wanted an aspiring career in architect, but you know how sometimes some things just don't plan out. So therefore, he went to go. I don't know if he owns the store or he just sells furniture. Like it's like one of them movies, I mean, them games you play on PC, when you just in the store and it's just you. I guess he owns the store, so he done turned to a store owner selling furniture, no credit, nothing. And apparently the store is failing. Apparently the store is a ripoff. Apparently the store is pretty much, he running it like Mr. Krabs. You feel me? And the store ain't doing too well, and he's pretty much holding all this trauma and all this anger against his wife when instead of taking accountability for himself. So we got a drunk dude that lacks the accountability that maybe it's his fault that his career done took a turn. Maybe it's his fault that things ain't going right in his marriage. But instead, he rather point the finger at the world and other people. So hence what I'm talking about, people feelings, because that's what the whole Backrooms is about. Who you are, and it cultivates you in the back room. Back rooms is almost like, let me go in the back room, see what we got. So it's like stored things. That's what back rooms is for, storage. And pretty much this movie is about storing your feelings, your guilt, your trauma, everything, how you feel as a human being in the back room. That's why when Clark goes in, he sees the furniture. And when Mary goes in, she don't see nothing yet. Because they didn't cultivate. But over time, you watch the movie, they showed things that she went through. So we got Mary, therapist. She hates her job too. So you got two people who hates their job and career, just feel lack of interest, like she feel empty inside. You feel what I'm saying? She feels empty, and then you got Clark who feels empty too. So you got two people who, one has actually the career and the other one don't, but they both feel empty inside. Like, hey, I'm missing something. This not something I want to do. I hate my life. I hate my job. This ain't me. And Clark goes to Mary for help. Actually, at first, I thought Mary was his wife. I thought they was doing the role playing stuff so well. I was like, man, that part when they was sitting there doing the role playing part, that shit felt like, is he actually talking to his wife or he's talking to the therapist? Couldn't find out. She's the therapist. And he got a couple more characters that show up on screen. Kat and Bobby works in the store. You see what I'm saying? They work for Clark, work with Clark, whatever you want to call it. And business has just been slow. He's still been paying these employees money to come to work. Then now, let's get into the store. I'm going to make it quick. I ain't going to hold y'all on. Clark has been having electrical problems with the lights coming on because he's sleeping at the furniture store. Spoilers. He's sleeping at the furniture store, and he's having problems with the lights coming on, the TV flickering off. That's the back rooms doing all that. That's the back rooms. So he calls an electrician to come in and check out the power, and they start seeing all the fuses. Then they see a set of another fuses that somebody forced in there, and they cut them on, and they cut them off. Fast forward, I think he's drinking. Yeah, he's drinking in the bed watching TV. He's watching his old commercials that he made for the store. He's watching his old commercials, I guess reflecting them back on the good times, because the times he in now, that's not when it first started. Because you can see the dullness of the store versus when they made the commercial. So he made this commercial about the store. And let me get into that. He made a commercial about the store. So it's showing him dressed up as the pirate, selling you, trying to get you to come buy the furniture, no credit, no nothing. All you gotta do is come in and buy this furniture. That's it. You can make payments, whatever. He's trying to get customers. But the whole point of that scene, it symbolizes a few things: the shoes, the chair, and the pirate. I'm not gonna spoil that part, but it symbolizes that. It's back to him drinking on the bed. to how he finds the back room. He's drinking, power comes on again, cuts off, then shut off, and he goes down to fix it. He end up pressing the buttons, the wrong one. Somebody forced in, he pressed them, and it cuts off everything. So he walks. He's drunk at this point. He's drunk, and he walks, and he sees a light in the wall. Hence, in the trailer, you see them going through the wall. It's a portal from the warehouse to the back room. He goes through the portal and he sees the first thing he sees is pretty much his life right in front of him. The furniture. See, anybody who goes through there gonna see the furniture. But I'm gonna mess with y'all. The furniture had to cultivate first. See, when you first go in there, it's gonna be empty. Clark been going in that room. He's been going in there. That ain't his first time in that room, but in the movie it shows us a reflection of no, I gotta backtrack. He's been in that store sleeping, so it's cultivating him in that room. When he first walk in, he falls down to the ground and he looks up and he see other furniture. That's because he's been standing in his furniture place. If he would never stayed in there, they would probably have furniture here, furniture there. This dude had a whole mountain of furniture, which results in his life in front of him. See, back rooms, it's endless amounts of rooms, endless amounts of doors. And the thing is, the more you the more you traverse in this place, there's something following you, and it's him. But in the first scene, the first act, there's another guy that's there that shows people. Somebody been down there recording the incident. Somebody been down there doing studies, whatever. There's been people down there, of course, if you watch the movie. There's people down there conducting studies. You already know how that goes. If you watch the Belko experiment, you watch all these Cabin in the Woods, you watch all those, it's pretty much somebody's experimenting. And he chases him through the back rooms. Like I told you, the thing chases you till you force yourself in a corner. And that's what happened. Clark goes in, he's looking around, and then he's just traversing through the whole place. Clark is actually pretty smart for a man who drinks a lot. This dude, well, that don't have nothing to do with drinking. This dude done made a whole complete map of the back rooms. Because when he first walked in, it shows him he goes to the back room, he traverses through the area, and then somebody start hearing something coming. If you watch the movie, you know what's around the corner. And then somehow he made his way back to the portal. So he draws a door, and he eventually tells his therapist, hey, I found some of this in my warehouse, the basement, the portal. See, their biggest mistake was they should never went down there. They should never went down there. And I'm gonna explain the ending real fast. Because like I said, the whole place of the back room cultivates your reality and turns it into a whole damn horror film. I was telling my wife, yo, just imagine your life is being cultivated in an area that's endless. And they got it like an office setting. So pretty much it's telling us we're wrapped up in our work. We're wrapped up in our feelings. We're wrapped up in our traumas in this back room. Because everything you store in your mind that's hurtful either stores in the back of your head and it comes out full force in the front like Clark did, or you store it in the back and forget about it. But it's always on Front Street, your trauma, your problems. That's what I got from this movie. And the fact that your trauma and problems can kill you. So him, Clark, Kat, and Bobby, they go down after he done talked to Mary about showing her the map. So they eventually go down and check everything out. These is pretty much in the trailers. They check everything out. But I don't have a problem with this movie. Couldn't figure out what was gonna happen next. That's why to me I think it's a pretty solid film. And so they go down there, they check everything out, they grab a rope and slide Bobby down there. See, like I told you, Bobby been down there just enough time for the realm to cultivate his issues. See, Bobby's a nasty, dirty motherfucker. So when he went down there on the bottom, that time frame, it had nothing but clothes and trash everywhere on the ground. That represents Bobby. Now, I didn't see the part where they represent Kat. I want to say it's the pool area. She has issues with pool and water. I'm not sure. But Bobby was taken by some kind of creature. So something down there lurking around. Something down there taking folks, taking names and scratching them off. Something down there, yeah. And I ain't talking about this I'm gonna just hold you as a prisoner. Something down there eating people. So they eventually end up getting thrown down there. And at this point, Kat runs away to go catch up to Bobby. I don't know if she gets eaten, taken out what, but I do know this scene forward. Clark's been down there for a while. So Clark's been down there for a minute. Mary eventually comes to say, you know what? I ain't seen Clark in a while. He ain't came. He ain't come to the session. So she goes down there and check everything out. She eventually finds what Clark said was the portal on the door. So when she walks in, she sees nothing. She don't see anything because they didn't cultivate her trauma or everything that she had with her mama and being locked up and then having to leave her house because they was building skyrise apartments at a home. So you know how that go when they coming in. She goes around, traverse through everything, but it's like she's doing it at a record amount of speed compared to Clark. So like I said, she's doing everything at record amounts of speed. You know how they try to catch everything up to speed. Like she knows everything Clark has said, and she's going to see it for herself. Like to me, man, I would never go down there, bro. Soon as somebody tell me some weird shit going on, I'ma believe them. You know these movies, they're like, I don't believe them. No, F that, believe them. So she goes down there. She eventually sees everything Clark tells her because, like I said, Clark's been down there. He actually been living down there. I think he been living down there. I think he just didn't realize it. And she eventually sees him, and they having no. She don't see him. He sneaks up behind her and chokes her out. The thing is, a lot of people speculate that the reason why he choked her out is so the whatever's lurking down there don't come get her. Because obviously, if he's down there and he ain't been touched or got or ate, whatever, there's some kind of relationship he has with this monster that's been traversing through this place. So he ties her up, sits her down in this chair, and they have like another session again about the role playing stuff. It's like they revisited the same old session again, and Clark has to understand that he's the issue, which he eventually does, which is why he met his demise. Because you know how sometimes evil entities, you try to come to terms with who you are, they don't want to. So, spoilers, Clark's still life as his wife that's standing right there, and there's another one. These things move. I know they move. I'm sitting there looking at all them the mannequins, and they're real people. They're real still lives. You know what I'm saying? They're just still, but they move and stuff. They walk around, run, and all that. Something comes from the back and come in 8 foot, 9 foot tall, and it's Clark. See, if you watch that commercial, that pirate commercial, you can see in an instant when the field is watching it, the doctor, it kind of shape shifts and cuts off and cuts on, and you can see Pirate Clark in the back. But you see Clark dressed up. Some people claiming that Clark never made the commercial. He never made it because it was two different timelines. They first seen Clark in 1990 in the back rooms looking at himself. And then the commercial came out in 1997. So feels like his theory is thinking the back room is shape shifting time and this whole conundrum with that, which it probably is because it's taking things from real life and putting them in there. So and then the fact of the matter is when Clark walks up and there's a camera pointed at him. When he first walks in, the very first time he comes in, he's looking at a camera. Obviously somebody's surveilling this shit. So, like I told you, my theory is Clark been down there. He been living down there. That's why he's able to move around. Because if you watch all the series, there's something down there. But he's able to move around freely until Mary shows up. Mary should never brought her ass down there. So there's like a chase scene. Mary's running around, entity chasing her around, and then comes to the fact that you already know there's a bigger hand, a bigger picture than we think it is. There's always some kind of experiments being conducted, and there's always some kind of doctors, some individuals doing tests, individuals doing some pretty much some fuckery. And Mary gets caught and she's questioned. And there's no rule of thumb that Mary survived or anything, because you know when you know that all that information, they don't want you to live. So I don't know if Mary lived or not. But there's an ending scene that shows Mary as a still life or her still life sitting down on a chair and her whole life is brewing up. Her whole life. the house, the apartment signs, her book. I don't know what her entity would be like, but it usually forms one because I told you it takes everything that's trauma in your life. Even though she wrote a book, I don't think she was really fulfilled with writing that book. The house that she had to give up because they was building the apartments, and the movie was quite fascinating. The movie was quite good. I like it. It's brand new. A24 do a good job with horror movies. My dream is to direct a horror movie. That's my dream. I love horror films. That's something I really want to do. I want to create me a little short horror film. But that's kind of me explaining the whole movie and trying to explain the ending and this whole thing about back rooms. You got to take the concept of a back room is where you store things. This movie, when Clark goes in, he sees the furniture. It's on his mind because he sells furniture. So he's storing his trauma to furniture and his wife, family, house. Mary storing the trauma, her house, them building them apartments, the book, her overall job. So you have two individuals going through all these different things and they're not fulfilled. So they're storing trauma. That back room shit takes your ish that you have to deal with on a daily basis. Instead of storing it in the back of your mind, it puts it on the forefront. So that's what back rooms it is to me. If you enjoyed this review, I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10. Will I watch it again? Yes. I think a second time watch, and then I think that's gonna be it for me. Shout out to all the actors. I can't pronounce that guy's name. He does a good job in all the films he in. He made it so convincing that he looked thrown off, and I like that. Like he looked like a drunk ass dude. You know what I'm saying? He ain't even lying his beard, so you like, yeah. And shout out to Mary. I don't know these actors' names, but I see Mary before I see the other guy, Clark. In Four Brothers, 12 Years of Slavery. I can't remember the names, but I give it 7.5 out of 10. And go watch it, man. If you need a place to go watch it, you can't go to the movies, leave a comment down below. I will hook you up on a website that I watch everything on, every movie, every series, everything that ever came out in life itself. From a film standpoint, I could go pull it up. So, holla back.